What would you do if a single careless sentence turned your entire life upside down? On a rainy Friday evening, one woman's offhand remark shattered her world and sent her husband into the shadows. What followed was a heart-wrenching journey of regret, love, and the fight for redemption. Stay tuned to witness how a relationship nearly lost found its way back to life. It all started on a rainy Friday afternoon, the kind that makes you feel nostalgic and introspective. I was on the phone with my best friend venting about the usual frustrations of life, work stress, financial strain, and the endless commitments that come with marriage. I never thought he would be home. He had told me before that he would be working late. So when I said without a second thought that I wished I had never married him, I thought those words would stay between me and my best friend. But he was there. I didn't see him until I turned around and caught a glimpse of his shadow walking away down the hallway. My heart sank. I froze the phone still in my hand as my friend's voice faded into background noise. I ran to the bedroom, but he was gone. His car was not in the driveway for the next 2 days. I heard nothing from him. His phone went straight to voicemail. I contacted his closest friends, his co-workers. No one knew where he was. Panic set in and guilt ate at me relentlessly. I repeated my words over and over again, wishing I could take them back. Then, on Monday, a messenger came to the door. In his hands was an envelope, addressed to me. Inside was a divorce petition. My stomach turned for divorce from a careless comment. I needed to talk to him to explain, to make him understand that I didn't mean it, that it was frustration speaking, not my heart. But he didn't answer my calls. Every message I left him was met with silence. His family was as confused as I was. They hadn't seen him either. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. I decided to write him a letter in it. It poured out my soul, explaining how much I loved him and how I never intended to hurt him. I told him about the stress I'd been under, about how overwhelmed he felt, and how it led to that thoughtless remark. I begged him to come home to give me a chance to fix things. Weeks passed. With no response, then I received another letter. This time from his lawyer. It was curt and impersonal, stating that my husband wished to proceed with the divorce and had no interest in further communication. The pain was unbearable. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My home felt empty without him. I searched for him everywhere, on social media, through mutual acquaintances, even hiring a private investigator. But he had erased himself from my world. Months turned into a year. I signed the divorce papers, though. It felt like signing away a part of my soul. I moved to a new city, hoping a change of scenery would help me heal. Slowly, I rebuilt my life. I started therapy and joined a support group for divorced women. Then, one day out of the blue, I received an email from an unfamiliar address. The subject line read, "I forgive you." My heart raced as I opened it. It was from him. He wrote about how deeply my words had hurt him, how they had shattered the foundation of trust and love he had built for us. But he also acknowledged that he left without giving me the chance to explain that his pride had fueled his disappearance. He confessed he had been living abroad, trying to find himself and make sense of everything. The email was long, raw, and emotional. By the end, he asked if we could meet when we finally saw each other again. It was as if no time had passed. Yet everything had changed. He looked older, more worn, but his eyes still held the warmth. I remembered we talked for hours about what went wrong, about our feelings, and about whether there was any hope left for us in the end. We decided to take things slow. We went on dates, like we were strangers falling in love for the first time. It wasn't easy, and the road to rebuilding our relationship was fraught with challenges, but we were both willing to try. Today we are stronger than ever. That dark chapter of our lives taught us the value of communication, forgiveness, and resilience. And though I still regret the words that started it all, I am grateful for the lessons they brought. Sometimes love isn't about never hurting each other. It's about choosing to heal together, no matter how deep the wound as the months turned into years. Our relationship continued to evolve. We moved back into our old home, but it felt different, lighter, as though the walls had absorbed our pain and released it. Into the ether we redecorated, choosing colors and furniture that reflected the new chapter. We were writing together. It was symbolic, a way of reclaiming the space that had once felt so heavy with regret. We also made a conscious effort to prioritize each other. Date nights became sacred, and we took turns planning them. Sometimes it was as simple as cooking dinner together and watching a movie. Other times we drive to the coast, walk along the beach, and talk about our dreams. Dreams we had once shared but had buried under the weight of life's demands. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, he turned to me and said, "Do you remember the first time we met?" I smiled, recalling the coffee shop where we had bumped into each other, spilling lattes and laughter. "I think about that a lot," he continued, "how easy it was to fall in love with you. I don't want to lose that again." His words struck a chord. We had been so focused on rebuilding that we hadn't fully allowed ourselves to rediscover the joy of simply being together. From that day on, we made a pact to approach our relationship with the same curiosity and enthusiasm we had in the beginning. Of course, it wasn't always smooth. Sailing old habits and insecurities would occasionally resurface, threatening to pull us back into the patterns that had nearly destroyed us. But this time we were prepared. We had learned to communicate openly, to listen without judgment, and to give each other the space to grow. One of the most transformative moments came during our trip. We took to the mountains. We had decided to go hiking, something we hadn't done in years. As we reached the summit, the view took our breath away, endless peaks bathed in golden light. He took my hand and said, "This is what we've been climbing toward, isn't it? Not just this view, but this feeling, this peace." I nodded, tears swelling up in my eyes. It was true. We had climbed mountains, both literal and metaphorical, to get to this place. And though the journey had been arduous, it had also been worth it. When we returned home, we made a scrapbook of our trip, filling it with photos and mementos. It became a symbol of our resilience, a reminder that even the steepest paths can lead to breathtaking vistas. As the years passed, we found ourselves growing, not just as a couple, but as individuals. I pursued a passion for writing that I had long neglected, and here discovered his love for painting. We supported each other's endeavors, celebrating every small victory as if it were our own. One day, as I was organizing our bookshelf, I came across the letter I'd written him during our separation. I hesitated before opening it, unsure if I was ready to revisit that pain. But as I read the words, I realized how far we had come. The desperation and heartache that had once consumed me had been replaced by a quiet strength and a deep appreciation for the love we had fought so hard to preserve. I showed him the letter that evening. He read it, insolence, his eyes glistening. When he finished, he pulled me into a tight embrace and whispered, "Thank you for never giving up on us today." As I sit there writing this, I can't help but reflect on the journey we've taken. It wasn't the story I had envisioned when we first said I do, but it's ours, messy, imperfect, and beautiful in its own way. And though I still carry the weight of that rainy Friday evening, I no longer see it as a burden. It's a reminder of how far we've come, of the love that endured. Even when it felt impossible, sometimes I think about the version of us that could have been Theon, that never faced that storm. But then I realize that it's the storms that shape us, that teach us what we're made of, and if given the choice, I would choose this version of us every time, because this version knows the value of second chances, of forgiveness, and of a love that refuses to let go. Life's storms may test our love, but they also show us its strength. This incredible journey of heartbreak and healing reminds us that love isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance. If you were moved by this story, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tales of love, loss, and second chances. Thank you for watching, and remember, every ending can be a new beginning.